Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here, and today is Techniques Tuesday, Back to Basics. And today I have a super fun, simple, easy project to do. And it has a story. I love telling stories. So I brought an assortment of papers here so that we can play with different kinds of paper. We're going to start out with the regular white, but you can use whatever you want, of course. And I'm hoping you'll play along with me. So just grab some printer paper and we can get started. If you remember, some of you would have watched my Happy Mail video or several of them from Thelma, where she had given me these decorated French fry bags. And the story behind the French fry bags, and I've told it before, but I'm going to tell it just in case you didn't watch the video. Like, look how beautiful these are. I had gone to a thrift shop one time, and there was a box of French fry bags sitting on the floor, and it had, I think it was 20 for $1 or 10 for $1. I can't remember. And I wanted the whole box. And I thought, I'm not going to sit here and count envelopes like these little French fry bags. I'm not going to sit here and count them and then pay $20 or $30 for them. I didn't know how much was in the bag or in the box. And so the manager of the thrift shop just happened to be walking by. And I said to him, I said, I don't want to buy 10 or 20 or whatever it was. I said, I want to buy the box. I said, what would you just charge me for the box? And he said, well, this box has been sitting here for a couple of weeks. Nobody's bought any. There was nothing missing from the box as far as we could see. And, or maybe only a handful. And he said, how about $3 for the box? And I said, no problem. I'll take it. And he put it in the cart, which is something I hadn't told you guys before, was he had put it in the cart. And so I went, paid for it, and took everything out to the car. And when I went to lift the box out of the car, the box was super heavy. And so I folded the flaps over to close it, and I just happened to tip the box sideways. And on the side of the box, it said 3,000 French fry bags. 3,000. So all of my gal pals in Manitoba, in my artist group, got tons of them. I sold them online. I sold them. I had a shop, so I sold them in packets in the shop. I gave them away. They just never disappeared. There was 3,000 of them. So Thelma took a good chunk of them, and my other friend, my other gal pal Val, I always love saying that, gal pal Val, she took a bunch of them to distribute, for different occasions and to use for, whenever they have an artist gathering, they always fill it with little freebies and goodies that, that they share with everybody. So she took a bunch for that purpose. But Thelma took a bunch too and started to decorate them like this, and they're just gorgeous. They really look so beautiful when you think of it as just a plain, ordinary bag. I don't even think I have any kicking around here. No, I don't. And I do have some somewhere. But they're in a box that I haven't unpacked yet. And so I told all this in my last, the video I did where I showed these. And so many people commented that, I had to get those French fry bags out, and was I going to sell them when I did? And I figured, I really should look for them. And then I thought, well, I'm going to Moncton one day soon. There's a place there where I can buy them. And I thought I'll just buy a box because now that I see how nicely they're so easy to decorate, why not buy a box of them and then sell them online? And they're about 5 inches, so they fit nicely in a journal, on a journal page. And you can have them as a side pocket. You can also fold this up. I'm just going to take, Thelma gave me every one filled with goodness. But you could also take this bag and fold it up a little bit and create a second little pocket if you wanted. So you could have a tuck spot and a pocket. And then one night in bed, that's when I dream up my best things. I thought, well, why don't we just make them? It's just a gusseted pocket. But I thought, you know what? If we make these gusseted pocket envelopes, then there's measuring involved, and you have to have exact science going on there. And I thought, I just don't have, I don't like doing that, because when I want to make something, I want to make it fast and move on to something else, because, I do a lot of stuff. And so my days are filled with creativity. I don't need to be taking the time to measure everything and score things. I want to be able to just do it. So for the rest of the night, instead of sleeping, I worked on how to make these. So we are going to make them. They are so fun, fast, and easy to make. It's just going to, you're going to make hundreds of these for sure. So I'm going to put Thelma's aside for now. We will come back to hers in a second. All you need is a piece of paper, and you need some scissors. If you want a decorative edge, you need some scissors, decorative edge scissors. You can use your pinking shears if you have those, regular scissors, and your glue, whatever glue you want to glue your bag together. But it is so simple. Now, I can go either way on this bag. If I want to go this way or this way, either way I can work on it. So I will show you both methods. I prefer to go portrait style because that gives you a wider bag. But, then we will do some landscape style. Am I saying that right? Yes. So it's very, very simple. The one finger thing that I always tell you about, the tool that you have that is with you all the time is your index finger. And I measure a 1/2 inch and I fold it forward. A 1/2 inch, just like that. And I make a good, no, I didn't do that very straight. There we go. That's better. And I just take my scissors or bone folder and make that crease nice and crisp. So you can see the crease is up. Then I turn it over and I fold it back onto the same size, sort of like you're making a fan. Do you remember those days of making paper fans or even paper flowers? And I do the same thing. So it's about a 1/2 inch. If you measured on your ruler, it's about a 1/2 inch, whatever your index finger is. So we've done 2 folds. We're going to turn it over and we're going to do it one more time for 3. And again, it does not have to be perfect. You will not notice the micro bit of an inch. So we've made 3 accordion folds here, right? So now I'm going to take the paper and I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to take this edge of the paper and I'm going to bring it up to the very end of that paper. Minus these little bits here. So it's sitting on top of all those accordion folds. And then taking my finger, I'm just going to press it down and press it across. Okay. Now, I'm going to take that fold I just made and I'm going to fold it the opposite way. So I'm going to turn this around and refold it that way. Got it? Then I'm going to take that fold, this single fold, and I'm going to fold that up a 1/2 inch. How you doing so far? Then I'm going to take that piece of paper and fold it back the other way that it was originally. You now have a gusseted bag on this side, and you have a gusseted bag on this side that we originally folded that you're going to glue this paper to. We're going to do a lot of these. And I would suggest that you bookmark this video so you can watch it again in a few months when you forget how to make these. But it is that simple. So there is your bag. I'm going to lift the paper up and I'm going to put glue on that last flap that we have, or I guess it would have been the first one technically. So I'm just going to run my glue down the flap. You can use your glue stick too. And close this up. So there is your bag with a gusset. And glue quite to the top there with a gusset. So now we're going to fold this up. Now I like to fold it up, maybe about 3/4 of an inch up. And fold it in half. Or not fold it in half, fold it up. And then, I've shown you this before, I pretend it's a shipping tag. And so from the corner of the fold going up, I just take my scissors and then I go to match the other corner over there so that it looks like a shipping tag. And then it's a matter of deciding which one you want to keep and which one you don't want to keep. So I just hold that one back that I want to keep. And this I glued down here. So I just hold back the one I want to keep. And then I carefully cut off the other one. Kind of going into the bag a little bit. Just so you don't have that crease mark. And now I have a flap to close the bag. Just like that. And so I can leave the flap like this, or I can take my, my fancy pants scissors and just make a little fancy cut into it. And then glue it shut. And, the first couple are, you're going to say, oh, I don't know. Just hang on with me and we'll do a couple more and you'll see how easy it is to make these. And I've glued the bag shut. And now at the top, now this is much taller than a French fry bag, right? So I can cut this down. First I can cut it into a smaller or a shorter height. And then I can take my what I like to do is I like to do the same thing, folding it down a little bit and then cutting it into that shipping tag look. And then uncreasing it. Get that out of the way. Too many pairs of scissors here. And then I take my scissors and I go straight across the top of both of them. Sure you do, Kim. There you go. It's a little wonky donkey. And I have the choice. I can either leave that one, this one sitting and just glue it down or fold it down and you have your finished top. I also don't like these little corners, so I can just take my scissors and cut them out. And because I've already cut it into a shipping tag, they're not really touching anything, so I can just trim them right out. So trim that a little bit better. And I have a gusseted French fry bag. Now, if you don't like this look, you can just cut it straight. And you have the same type of bag. Undecorated, of course, as she has here. Now, I realize I made my flap on the front side, but by the time you've got it decorated, it's not going to make a difference. Now, the piece I cut off you can do the same thing. You can make a pocket with it. In fact, we could make a pocket that goes in the front of this bag, so we won't see my flap. So I'm just going to trim the corners at the bottom into a shipping tag shape, hold one back, and cut out the rest of it, making sure not to cut into the little flap that we've just held up. So now I can glue this one shut. Oh, I see I have a little piece there stuck up. It's a little hard to see on the white, which is why I'm going to do a colored one next. But I wanted you to practice on plain paper just so that you don't, mess up with your good papers, of course. So now this little piece, I can do exactly the same thing. I can rough up the edges, feather them, or whatever, however you say. And I can glue this pocket in the front if I like. So that will cover my flap. So one way or another, I don't have to worry about that flap being there. So I'm going to glue it on 3 sides so I can make a double small pocket. And you know it fits because it's cut from the same bag. Oop. Except I'm not gluing it straight. There we go. And so I now have a bag that has the pocket in front, another tuck spot behind it, and then the full-size bag. Yes, it's a little smaller than the French fry bag that's here, but we're going to make some that are a little bit bigger. So I'm going to put that aside. And I'm just going to show you with a piece of colored paper. Now this paper, I'm sure you've seen it in the thrift shops. I'm sure you've seen it at the, the office supply stores. It's 8.5 by 11. It's the same size. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. The very first thing I'm going to do is fold over 1/2 inch. Turn it over, fold it back 1/2 inch. I'm curious to see how this one's going to turn out. Turn it over again, so you're making 3 folds. Okay, turning it around, taking this edge and bringing it right over top to line up with the very edge of the paper where the 3 folds are. Holding it in place, and then I'm just running my finger across here to make the fold. Then I'm going to reverse that fold and fold it back this way. So the paper's now folded the opposite way. And then taking that fold, not the accordion side, taking this fold, I'm going to fold it up 1/2 inch. And what's happened is you've made the whole gusset with 2 sides, like 2 folds at the same time. Take my scissors and just press that into place good. And now you're going to take that paper, and where you made the original fold, you're going to turn around and fold it back the original way that you made it. Oh, this is going to be pretty. So now you've got that double fold in there. You've got your open side, but you've got your 3 folds on here, and you're going to glue that to the top fold. So taking my glue, Now you could cut these right in half. I just wanted a longer bag, so that's why I cut the smaller piece off. You can also leave it as a full-size bag if you want, because by the time we do the bottom and fold it up, it will still fit nicely in a regular size journal. Okay, so now that I've got that glued, I'm just going to press the fold a little bit more. I see my glue is oozing out a little bit. And then the other side, I'm just going to press those folds in place. And there is my gusseted bag. All I have to do is fold up the bottom. Now I want to decide which side. So this is going to be the back. This time I'm going to do it right. It's easy to do with the white paper because I wasn't thinking about where the flap was going to end up. And I could fold that very straight. So again, once I've made that fold, I like to snip out the corners with my scissors from the fold up to the top into a shipping tag shape. Now you can measure if you want, if you have your tools to measure. And because I know that I want this to be the back, I'm going to choose this side to be my flap that I'm going to fold over. So I'm going to lift that one up, get it out of the way, and take my scissors. I'm going to take my big scissors. It's easier to work with them. And I'm going to cut away that flap. I'm holding this one up a little bit so that I can see where the fold line is, and I'm just cutting inside the fold line. This way you don't have that bulk when you go to fold it back up. Okay, so did I do this right this time? Yes, I did. So now I'm going to fold this up, and that'll be what I glue closed. But I'm just going to run my decorative scissors across the bottom. And then glue it shut. And see, I missed a little piece there. I'll just trim out. And there's my bag. And again, the same thing. If I want to have the flap a little bit higher on the top than on the bottom, I can do that as well. And this paper gave me this convenient line, so I'm going to fold on that line just to get an idea of where I want to trim it. And so then taking my scissors, I'm going to make it into a shipping tag shape first. And then I'm going to shape this piece. I can cut it straight across. I can round corner it. I can leave it as it was. I can cut it right off. So there's the top of my bag. And this piece here, I can leave it as it is, fold it down, or I can cut it right out. And I can cut it straight across, or I can scallop it in, kind of curve it in if I want, but I'm just going to cut it straight across on that convenient line it gave me there. And you have an instant little French fry bag. Look at that. It is so cute. So this one I've left long, and this one I just used the leftover piece to make another little bag. Or you can have a totally separate bag, but I just wanted to cover up that flap that I put on the wrong side. Now this one I left cutting it straight across, but I can also curve this one as well so that you don't see that. This one I left the little gusset pieces in, but I can cut them out. But I noticed on the French fry bags, they're left in there. They're not cut out. So it's just how they made the bag where it's just part of the bag. So it kind of looks cute, huh? And it's so easy. We're going to do another one. Now I have some other colored paper here, something from my printer. I'm just going to use this one. And I printed it on both sides, and I just roughly printed it. I wasn't too concerned about what was going to show and what wasn't going to show. And this time, instead of folding it portrait style, I'm going to fold it landscape style. So the same thing, 1/2 inch. Turn it over, 1/2 inch back. You're going to do this fold 3 times. Folding one on top of the other, just like you would a fan. Am I starting to sound like a broken record? Sorry. Broken record. How many people actually know that term, right? How many people actually remember having a broken record? Okay, so I've got my 3 folds in there. Now I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to do where I bring it up to the edge of the bag. Now you can see that this bag is going to be very tall and skinny, or 2 bags, right? So I've folded it up to the edge of that bag. And now I'm going to take that fold and fold it the reverse way. And I'm going to take that fold and fold it up 1/2 inch. I promise, once you make 1 or 2 of these, you will have no problem making them. And I'm just going to take my scissors and crease it a little bit better. And then the original paper, I'm going to fold it back on itself again, the way it was before. And I've got this long piece of paper. And I'm going to just glue now across that little flap there, the very first flap we made. And now I have my folded, gusseted bag with the folds on both sides. And I can leave this long, you know, I could cut it whatever length I want. I can have a short pocket, a long pocket. I'm just going to take my cutter and cut it in half. Actually, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to fold it in half. Just approximately, and then take my scissors and cut it in half. And so same thing, fold this up. And cut it into shipping tag shape. Hold one flap back, cut out the rest. Fold it up to the back. Now I'm not even going to bother to put that little deckled edge on here. You don't really see it anyway, but I mean it's part of making the French fry bag. But and then because that's the back, I'm going to work from the front and just fold this down about 3/4 of an inch, not quite you know, a little bit better than half, just so it makes a better flap. And that's just a guide for making the top of my shipping tag again. Holding the one flap down, taking my decollage scissors and rounding it off. And then taking my decollage scissors again, I want to cut off that flap at the line, at the fold line. And these scissors don't work that great. So, but if you ever look at these French fry bags, they look like they've been cut with these scissors. They're always a little bit on the rough side. But there is my French fry bag again. Isn't that cute? So cute. Great little gift bags and great little bags to add into your journals. And I have another one here. So you can get 2 out of 1 piece of paper folding it the other way, but they're smaller. So when you compare that to making the one large one, you can see the difference. So we can use any kind of paper, any kind of size. I've got a piece of map paper here. Which way do I go? I think I'm going to go landscape way because then I'll make 2. So a simple 1/2 inch fold. And like I said, if you folded this side ever so slightly different than the other side, you will never ever notice, because we're just talking, you know, small increments. Folding it back, so you do 3 folds on the one side. The nice thing about this map page is it's got an image on both sides. So this is a great way to use up those book pages, because you can use book pages, ledger paper, music sheets, maps, double-sided scrapbook paper, wrapping paper, all that leftover. You know when you wrap a present, you have that piece that's always this wide, like it's like 7 or 8 inches, and you can't wrap anything else with it? That's what you make these little French fry bags out of. Okay, so I've got my 3 folds, turning it around. I hope you get to see all this with all my stuff on the table here. And I'm just folding it up to the edge of the folds there. I might not have cut my paper perfectly straight, but that's okay. I can catch it when I'm finishing the bag. Okay, holding it in place, I'm just taking my finger and running it across both sides. Gluing it down. I know you can't see all the way to the end here, but oh, missed a step. I missed a step. Forgot to fold it back. I heard you yelling. I just didn't know why. I forgot to fold it back the opposite way and then make my second fold. It would have been an interesting bag, wouldn't it? Now everything's sticking to it. I got glue here. And so just making my folds. And then folding it back on its original fold. Ooh. It's hard to do when the glue is wet. There we go. We will do one more with a piece of scrapbook paper and I will do it right. And now hopefully the glue is still sticky enough to glue the 2 pieces together. But you get the general idea. I'm just showing you different materials to use. And I'm going to cut this in half because it's a really large bag. So this is about 13 inches, so about 6.5. I'm not being perfect about it, but and then folding the bottom up about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, whatever you feel, you know, you want your flap to be. And then taking my scissors, cutting my shipping tag shape. Now this is going to be the back flap, so I'm going to lift that up and cut all the rest of the stuff out. And then gluing the bottom flap up. And this to me is far more economical than buying the French fry bags. Although, you know, when I find them, I will put them up for sale if you want some. You can make these bags out of parchment paper, out of vellum, out of wax paper to make some translucent bags. So the same thing, I'm going to fold. This is now my front, so I'm just going to make a little fold in here. It's really just a marker, and if you can do it without a marker, you know, or just do a pencil line if that works for you. But it's just as fast to do it this way. And then I hold the one flap down and use my decal edge scissors. And if you don't have decal edge, you can just use pinking shears, or, you know, use a straight cut. You don't have to make it decal edged, but they do look cute like that as well. And you don't have to cut this flap off. If you're not comfortable cutting it off, you can just leave it. You can glue it down to give you extra strength on the bag. I might just still use the decal edge scissors to make it match up. So here I've left it on, and I can just glue that down just to give it extra strength for when you're putting things in and out of the envelope. And that looks just as nice to me, so I'm going to do that. And glue that piece down. And of course you can ink or do anything that you want for decorating, but you've got this cute little bag. And another thing too is you can use this top fold to fold it closed if you want to give this as a gift for someone, or you know, have the option of having it open or closed in your journal. So this flap can fold down. You just don't glue it down to your project. And you can glue it down, or you can leave it floating as a floating pocket, or glue it down on 3 sides and make it a double pocket, so you'd have a pocket back here and then another secret one in here. And if you don't like these little gusset folds, then you can just trim them out. So I'm not going to bother to do this one. You've seen me do that. I'm going to do one more, and that's with the scrapbook paper, and I'm using a full-size sheet. So in this case, it's square by, like, it's a square one, so you know you're going to be cutting it in half. If it was more elongated, you could decide what length you want, but you can still do that with this one too. It's the same process. 1/2 inch. Turn it over. 1/2 inch back. Turn it over. 1/2 inch. Just refolding it on itself. Turn it around, bring this edge to match up. It's hard to do when you're way over here and you're trying to look on this side, but it feels like it's matched up. And then just holding it with my finger, I just kind of finger press it. And then folding it back on itself the opposite way first. And then folding that 1/2 inch. Now you can skip a step by having the paper turned around and just folding up to it the opposite way. But this is just an easy way for you to see a little bit better how this is folded. And so now we're going to take this and fold it back opposite, or the way we originally started, on itself again. So there's your gusseted bag. Now I'm going to glue this closed, but you don't need to see me make another one. You've seen how to fold the bottom flap up. You've seen how to trim the tops, and this will make two nice size French fry bags. They're almost the same size as the actual French fry bag that I have here. Just about a ½ an inch smaller, I think. Yeah, not even, just a little bit smaller. So it depends on how tight you fold and how big your finger is. But, excuse me, if once you've got it folded, then you know how to do the rest. So I've got a couple here that I've done already. As far as the decorating, you know, there's just so much you can do. You can leave them plain, you know, depending on the paper you're using. You can do methods like this where you ink stamp on them and then, you know, decorate the front edge. Thelma, these are all so beautiful. Every one you do is beautiful. So you can leave them like that. You can decorate them up. I, you know, did something a little bit different in that I added some fabric onto the front of mine. So this is one I did here. And I think I have another one somewhere in the pile here. Yeah. So this was done with scrapbook paper. And that's the bag on the back. So what I did is inked it up, of course. I'm just going to do one really quickly with you to see how I would like to do them. I just thought they would be a great way to use up fabric scraps. I've seen Rachel from Roxy's Creation, she makes like little clusters on the front of her bag, and I thought, no, I want to do like a kind of a whole flip. I just thought that would be fun. So I'm just inking this up a little bit just to give it a more vintage look. And this is a great way to use up scrapbook paper that you really don't like. And another thing that would be fun is to put this design on the inside and have the white on the outside and decorate however you like. So then I took some tissue paper, or you can take napkin. I just had some tissue paper here, and I cut out a little piece to fit in that flap. I've got glue paper here. Now you can take napkin, you can take images, stickers, whatever you want to decorate. It's just like decorating an envelope. You can put anything you want in here. So I just put this in knowing that it's going to cover up the white of that flap a little bit. And you can leave it showing, or you can distress it with your inks, washi tape. I just wanted something so it wasn't so stark white. And then I have this little leftover piece, so I'm just going to take my glue and glue it into the corner here where hopefully it'll still show. You can add images, you know, a bird label, you know the drill on that. But I had this fabric. Where did I put it? Here it is. This was just some really scrappy fabrics. This was a chiffon hanky, and I had got a whole box of them, and they were so musty smelling, I decided to wash them all, and this one didn't make it through the wash. But I love the material. I love that it's, you know, this meshy, sheer stuff, and I just thought it matched the envelope pretty nicely. And this was another hanky that had some stains in it. So I just tore off pieces that I thought were the right size for my and I will use all these little scraps, so don't think that any of this gets wasted. Except that I'm so messy today. I don't know why. Okay, so I like that little rough edge there. I think I'm going to tear it about there. See how that fits. It's still a little bit big. I don't want it quite that big. So. Okay, I think I like this size. Now, normally I would iron it, but... Okay, so I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and run a little bead glue across the top here. Just to hold it in place. You can do this also with your white glue. And then I wanted a piece of this hanky. So this is just another way to show you not to be in a hurry to get rid of this kind of stuff. You know, it's great for doing shabby things like this where it's a little bit rough around the edges. No, there's something here I don't like. It must have been the seam on the end or something. I'm just going to tear it off. But I love when they look a little bit shabby like this. And so I'm just going to lay that on there. And I had this piece of lace. So I'm just going to cut a small piece of lace. This lace bothers me. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this in here. I'm going to lay it on top of the, I'm going to lay it on top of here. Is it just me, or can you guys see the sort of those smiley emojis? I keep seeing eyes everywhere on this lace. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it just looks like smiley faces to me and just annoys me. So I figured I got to get it used up. Now this is too long, so I'm just going to cut it. And then I like to take my scissors and rough it up a little bit along the edges so it's not so perfect. I want it to look a little distressed and worn out. Okay, so I'm going to again run a little bit of glue along here to catch that one, the blue, and then a little bit of glue along the top here to catch that one. And then I needed some little thing to add to it. And I suppose just because I want something, I don't have anything handy. Yeah, I can add this. This looks pretty. So I'm just going to put a little dot of glue on the top of here. And use that as the finishing piece on here. With the idea that, yeah, it's just a decoration on the front. So all of this flips open on top, and I can have, you know, a piece of writing material under here if I want, or you can write right on the bag here just as a little secret. And for the grand finale, I wanted to add a little gold pin. So you could add a brooch, you could add a gold pin, you know, you could add a fancy brad, a flower, you know, something that has a little dimension to it. You could add some fancy trims that Thelma has used. I just wanted a pin. You could stitch some buttons on here. Probably would have been a good idea to use my pokey tool, but there we go. And then just pin it closed. Did I get it? Yeah, I did. Okay, now with the pin in there, of course, I can have a dangle hanging down. This one was The doily, the handkerchief had a little embroidery on here, so I just pinned that on as the fourth piece. But you can pretty much pin anything on there and add some buttons or some dangles or whatever you like. But that's my version of the French fry bag. It's definitely not the same as Thelma's, but Thelma is Thelma. No one can outdo this bling. I don't know how many people think they'll outdo her. She's got this wrapped up and always looking gorgeous. Thank you, Thelma, for reminding me about the French fry bags again. And thank you for sending me all these lovely treasures. Yes, mine are different than yours, but that's what makes us different and what makes us enjoy what we do. I hope this was interesting enough for you. I hope you find it easy enough to make all these bags. Like, look I have just a pile of them here ready to be decorated. I may even decorate some of these and send them in my Happy Mail. The Happy Mail movement has been incredibly crazy fun. Every day is exciting for me to go to the mailbox. I'm taking a bunch of letters there today, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be in my mailbox when I get there. So this is the last Techniques Tuesday before Christmas. And I will start up again in January, probably about the second week of January. So I will be still having the Thrifty Canucks videos when I have a chance, some See Me Goes because I got a lot of work I got to get done, and some follow-up Fridays, as well as some image new digitals that I'll be putting out. So that'll continue to carry on through Christmas, and I will throw in a few little tidbits when I have a few minutes to sit down in front of the camera, but nothing structured, nothing regimented. So it's just going to be whatever happens. So other than that, we will resume the Techniques Tuesday after Christmas, like after the new year. And so just carry on. I bet you'll sit down and make a pile of these envelopes before the day is up, because once you get going, once you learn to fold which way, it is so easy. No tools required. Here are your tools. Have yourself a very creative week, and I look forward to seeing you probably on either tomorrow or Thursday. Depends on how much Happy Mail I have in the mailbox, but either way, you'll see me soon. Have a great day. Bye now.